Hello, welcome to Relaxation Yoga. I'm so happy and grateful for anyone who's watching this live or chooses to watch it later. Thank you so much for being here and putting yourself first, giving yourself some needed stress relief time. So we're going to do a 45-minute relaxation yoga practice. For this, please get props. While I'm going over some of the details, grab maybe it's a blanket. You can do a rolled up towel and maybe a pillow or a bolster, maybe a block. Just get whatever you can, whatever you have available. Here's a block. So whatever you need to help make this practice today more accessible for you. And we are going to, let me get started, read our waiver. Welcome to Relaxation Yoga. Yoga's ARC wants you to put your health first. Yoga is an activity that requires physical exertion. Please ensure you're in the proper health to do yoga, and if you are unsure or have an existing medical condition, please consult your doctor or physician before beginning a yoga regimen. By continuing with this class or video, you are agreeing to and accepting the terms of our waiver, which can be found on our website, yogasarc.com. Please silence your devices so you won't have distractions. Turn your cell phones off or on vibrate. Wear comfortable clothing and have your water near you. If you wish, you can dim the lights, create your environment. Maybe you want to put on your favorite music or you want lack of sound. Either way is fine. You may choose to put on a soft yoga playlist if you'd like. And if you're feeling called to donate, you can see in the description a link to donate. And every $40 you donate goes to a class at La Mesita Homeless Shelter, Perryville Women's Prison, Sojourners Women's Shelter, Maggie's Place for single moms, or a couple of school districts. So we appreciate all of that. So we are going to get started today on your back. And I want to remind you to make this your practice. You choose and work with the body that you came with it today. It may be different than the body you had yesterday or 10 years ago. We are going to be grateful for this body that we have today. So for today's practice, you may want to, as we start on our back, put a pillow or maybe a rolled up blanket or towel under your knees and get yourself comfortable as we get our mind and our breath in line with our relaxation practice today. So your hands can rest at your side, palms up to receive. Maybe you want palms down today for grounding. And you may choose to put one on your belly, or your heart. And we're going to take a moment here to just focus inside. Focus on your breath. Yoga breath is in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in, knowing I am breathing in, and breathing out, knowing I am breathing out. Notice your breath as it enters your body, fills up your belly. You feel the rise of your belly as it fills with oxygen, filling your chest, your heart, and exhaling it out. Out of your chest, your rib cage, your belly. Notice how that breath feels. It comes into the body. Maybe the warmth of the breath as it exhales through your nose. As you're settling in, take a scan of your body. Notice any areas of tension. Notice where you're holding your stress. No judgment, just observing. Anything you can't control is teaching you to let go. Anything you can't control is teaching you to let go. There are so many things in life that are uncontrollables. They are out of our control. It's a much shorter list of things that are in our control. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control what's happening in the world. We can't even control other people, our spouses, our kids. We can influence, but not control. So often what happens is we try to control those things that we cannot control. And this leads to anxiety, stress, illness, depression. The peace comes from letting go of those things that we cannot control. As you set your intention for our practice today, create a mantra around what you are letting go of. Or maybe it's that I accept, or I am peace. Five more breaths here as you come up with your intention. One more breath. Exhale, sigh it out, audible, open mouth. Flutter your eyes open if you'd like. Give yourself a little smile. And welcome to your practice. For our first shape, we're going to start on our belly. So if you have that blanket or bolster that's beneath your knees, we're going to use it. If you haven't put one there, grab one. Now, you may choose what you want here. Maybe it's a towel, maybe you flatten it out, a blanket. But we're gonna use something below our knees here, below our feet. So for our first pose, roll onto your belly. You can adjust that pillow a little bit further back. And come to a wide leg. So put your feet as wide as your mat. The tops of your feet are on the earth. Your legs are wide. And to start, put your head resting on your hands, your elbows out to the side. Just hang here for a few breaths. Feel the earth beneath your body, where it touches your feet, your thighs, your hips, your belly. And we're going to take a wide leg Sphinx pose. There's many options here for your hands, so you do what works for you and your body. You may want to keep your elbows in line with your shoulders and come up onto your forearms. From your forearms, you could have your palms up if that's more comfortable for you. Play with the angle of maybe moving your hands in together or further apart. Again, palms can be down or up. Maybe you move your elbows out a little bit further. Widen that angle. Just play with this here and see where that feels comfortable. Maybe you walk your hands forward. Just make sure you're not putting too much pressure on your shoulders. Your shoulders should stay in line with your elbows. Your head can rest down and let that neck go, or you can gaze forward towards the front of your mat. So work on finding this spot for you, that comfortable Goldilocks spot that feels just right for you. So once you find it, settle in and hold your pose. One other option here would be to push up higher. Most people can't hold this for the full 2 to 3 minutes. Maybe you want to come up here for a moment and come back down. So settle in, and we're going to hold this pose. You're about halfway done already. And hold this pose about another minute. You may want to put a block or a blanket under your head. Prop that up if you wish. Three more breaths here. Now relax your head down, relax your arms down, elbows wide. Your hands stacked on top of each other, and rest your forehead on your hands. Maybe you shimmy your hips just a little bit here. Just relaxing from that little back bend. For our next shape, we're going to move straight from here. We're going to take kind of an upside down butterfly pose. So you have some options. What you want to do is pull your feet in together as if you're doing a butterfly in a seated pose. Put your heels and toes together. The bottoms of your feet are touching. Your knees are wide. You can adjust the intensity of this stretch by whether your knees are closer together or further apart. If you move your knees wide, maybe as wide as your mat, you can feel a more intense stretch. If you want to lessen the intensity, walk your knees in closer together. For most people, your feet will not be touching the mat, and that's where this bolster or blanket comes into play. If you need to adjust that, do that now. So maybe that blanket or pillow gives your feet some support so they're not just hanging midair. Once you get comfortable with your legs, that comfortably uncomfortable, finding your edge, rest your head on your hands, elbows wide. halfway there, about 1 minute left. Yin yoga is about letting go of your muscles, giving them enough time in a pose where your muscles release, and we can get into the important work of our tendons and our fascia. The fascia is like the white part of an orange. If you think of taking orange, cutting it in half, the white pithy part of the orange is like our fascia for our muscles. They hold our muscles in place. Sometimes they hold them in a place that's causing us pain or tension. Here we're letting that go. One more breath. Slowly, ever so carefully, walk your knees back in towards each other. Maybe you move your blanket or block out of the way. Push yourself into a tabletop hands and knees position. Take some movement here that feels good. Maybe a cat-cow stretch. Did a little bit of back bend work here. Do a little movement, and then push yourself back into a child's pose, pushing back over your knees. You may choose to have your knees close together, or you can put them wide as your mat. Stretching your arms long in front of you. Reaching your fingertips. Feeling this stretch along your sides, your upper back maybe. Sitting back towards your heels. You're going to stay in the center child's pose for only a few more moments. On your next exhale, walk your hands off to the right side of your mat. Shifting your weight into that opposite left hip. Walk your hands, and maybe you put your left hand on top of your right, or hold onto your wrist for a little more intensity in that left side body stretch. We're going to be on this right side for about another minute and a half. Focus on your breath. Come back to your intention. Remind yourself that you can't control what you can't control. And let it go. One more breath here on this right side. Exhale, sigh it out. slowly walk your hands back through center. Stay in your center child's pose for just a moment. Noticing any differences from side to side. Sitting back into your heels, reaching your arms long. Maybe feeling that release in your low back. Remind yourself of your mantra. I am peace. On your next exhale, walk your hands to the left side of your mat. You're in a child's pose, reaching to the left. Maybe you place your right hand on top of your left hand to feel more intensity in that stretch along your right side body this time. And shift your heel, shift your weight towards your left heel this time. Your hip goes towards your left heel, and you're stretching to the right, to the left side, stretching that right side body. You choose where you have your knees, narrow or wide. On your next exhale, walk your hands back through center. Maybe you push up into hands and knees and do a couple of cat-cows in the transition. A little movement in that low back. And then let's meet in a seated position on your mat. For our next shape, you may want to have your props nearby if you need them. You may want a strap for this one if you have a strap or a belt. You can always just use your gravity here. We're going to do a wide leg stretch. So your legs are going to be in a straddle. So that's whatever that looks like for you. Your straddle may be a V like this. Maybe you can go wider. It's totally up to you. If you need to keep a bend in your legs, you keep a bend in your legs. This is where a block or a pillow comes in handy. You can stick a block under your knee for support. You could stick a blanket under your knee, wherever you need to support yourself in this shape. There's no right or wrong way. It depends on how tight you are in your hips, your low back, your hamstrings. So support yourself where needed. So for this shape, our first one, we're going to go to your left side. So turning your shoulders towards your left leg. This is a knee to nose pose. So leading with your heart, letting it go as far until you feel that comfortably uncomfortable with your spine long. When you get to that point, as far as you can go, then you can let it go and release your neck towards your knee. If you need to bring your knee up to your nose instead of the other way around, just bend that leg. There's your knee. You're still getting a great stretch. Adjust yourself where needed. And we're gonna stay here in this pose. We're about halfway done on this left side. Maybe it's down. Maybe you use a block here. Maybe you use a blanket to rest your upper body on. Maybe you rest your forearms. Find where you need that support, and we're just working towards this flexibility. One more breath here on this left side. Slowly using your hands, push yourself back up to center. And now we're going to take a center stretch. Your other option here, if you need to take some stress from your low back, you can do this from your back. You can lay on your back and just pull your legs, hold them out to the side. You can use a strap for that to hold your legs out. So feel free to take this from your back if you need to. For this next one, wherever your legs are in your V, where you're comfortably uncomfortable, for this opening here. Starting up tall, spine is long, lead with your heart. And when you've gone as far as you can go forward to be comfortably uncomfortable, then you can let it go. Let your upper body release. Again, you can put your blocks, your blankets, whatever you need. If you need your legs to be bent, if you need support in front of you, maybe you put your blanket or your pillow to support your forearms so you can hold this position in that comfortably uncomfortable spot, finding your edge. You may find as you're holding this position, you're able to melt a little bit further. Adjust your blocks or props as needed. I am peace. Letting go of control. We're not forcing this pose, we're letting gravity do the work. Two more breaths here in the center fold. Slowly, gently push yourself back up to center. Take your hands behind you and just lift your chest. A little mini back bend, just a counter pose. Come back through center. Now we're going to the right leg. Again, adjust as needed. Adjust the width of your legs. Maybe you need to pull one leg in that's bent. Adjust the width of your V. Turn your shoulders over your right knee this time. Leading with your chest, spine is long. Leaning your chest and your heart towards your toes. When you've met your edge, Hold, let go, release your upper body, your shoulders, relax your shoulders away from your ears, soften those shoulders. Maybe use a block or a towel to hold yourself there, hold your elbows. Find your point and breathe into the tension. Do not pull, do not force. Let go of what you cannot control. Soften into those areas and melt into this pose. I am peace. I let go of what I cannot control. Three more breaths here on our right side. See what areas you can soften just a bit more. On your next exhale, slowly, carefully bring yourself back up through center and slowly guide your legs back together. Give them a little shake. For our final shape before final relaxation, you're going to want either a block that you can position here. It's going to go in line with your spine. Maybe you use a pillow. This one may be a little bit big for that. Maybe you take a blanket. So take a minute to find. We're going to create a little bit of help in this opening. So maybe you roll a blanket into a nice bolster. Use what you have. You know, you're at home. And then come to your seat with your prop at the base of your spine. From here, carefully lowering yourself down onto your prop. This blanket is long, so it's meeting me at the base of my spine all the way up to my head. If you had a block, you're going to want to insert it here once you're down. So I'm going to remove the blanket and show you this block. So the block, once I'm laying down, then I can lift my hips and place the block here. Okay. Find that spot. If you're using a block, you want to have the top of the block between your shoulder blades. Take your arms out wide to a T, and your knees can be bent for support, or you may choose to take them long. Excuse me. You may want to support under your head, a pillow or a towel, a blanket. Enjoy this heart opener, chest opener. you don't want to have the prop there, that's okay too. You can do this one without a prop. Just opening the chest. Shoulders are releasing, they're softening down. They're away from the ears. This heart opener is wonderful to counteract our slouch asana. This pose that we have too often where we slouch forward, we're on our technology, on our screens, and our shoulders are rolled down. It's shortening the muscles in our pectoralis muscles, and it's causing shoulder tension, headaches. And so this helps our posture, opening those shoulders back, working into the tendons and the fascia as our muscles release as we hold this pose. Have about another 30 seconds here. Three more breaths in your open heart pose. Give yourself some love, some peace, some gratitude. This heart opener helps us to accept, to love, to let go of control. As you exhale, remove your blocks by simply rolling to one side, or if it's a block, maybe you lift your hips and remove it, pull it out carefully. Remove your blanket if you have it, or towel. And let's come to where we started on our mat, on your backs, for our Shavasana, this final relaxation that you have earned as a way to seal up our practice, set these positive changes that you've created in your body. Give these final minutes to yourself, moments of peace and meditation. Once again, come back to your breath, breathing in, knowing I am breathing in, and breathing out, knowing I am breathing out. Once again, take a scan of your body, noticing any differences from the beginning of your practice until now. No judgment, accepting those things you can control. Anything you can't control is teaching you to let go. Anything you can't control is teaching you to let go. Can't control the weather. Can't control illness. We can't control other people. We can control ourselves, our actions, our choices, our attitudes, and how we react to others. Choose to react with kindness and empathy. Choose love over fear. And choose to let go of what we can't control. Bring awareness back to your breath, to your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe make some larger movements with your ankles, rolling your ankles, your wrists. Maybe you take a long good morning, good afternoon stretch. Toes long in one direction and fingers in the other. Cleansing inhale and exhale, sigh it out. If you wish to stay here in your Shavasana for longer, if you have more time, please do so. If not, you're wrapping up with us now. Roll onto your favorite side in a fetal position, bicep for a pillow. And then push your way up to a comfortable seated position, hands resting on your lap, up to receive or down for some grounding. One more cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale and sigh it out. Hands to heart center to give yourself gratitude for making it to your mat today. Give yourself some love, some acceptance. Let go of what you cannot control. The love and light in me sees, recognizes, and honors the love and light